Be like, welcome back.
Welcome
I have
back. I
anxiety.
have anxiety.
And that's just one of the many.
And that's just the honestly, I already started recording, so we could just leave it at that and just make this our intro for this week.
Yeah. Hey, why not? Winging
Why
it.
not?
Welcome back
Welcome
to
back.
our minds and the complex emotions that inhabit them.
Yes.
Anxiety definitely being one of them.
Yep.
At least since I was about probably like 16.
Since at least high school. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. High school, yeah. Probably like somewhere in between, I guess maybe sophomore and junior. I think junior year for me was like when it was like, oh, yeah, I worry about a lot of things all the
I
time.
would say sophomore year,
Whoops. Yeah.
maybe freshman year, maybe because it's like you're just starting high
Yeah.
school. You don't really know
Mhm.
anybody, and the people that I did know from grade school, they were all mean to me, so we're not friends. And so like I had
Or
nobody.
loss.
Yeah.
Or loss.
They're lost,
There's
yeah.
areas.
And then so like I didn't really have anybody, so I think freshman year I was definitely nervous. But sophomore year is kind of when it's like, why am I nervous doing nothing?
Yeah.
I'm having a lunch and I'm nervous. Okay, lovely.
So it's so the topic today, what are we
Anxiety.
discussing?
Inside Out.
Yeah.
Well, Inside Out too. If we're
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we will probably
mention a
branch
little
into
bit.
discussions of the first
Yeah.
one too, but it's mostly we wanted to give a little review, a little
Yes.
insight. We went to the movies last weekend.
Yes. And I'm mad
And
because my favorite thing, one of my favorite things at the movies is
uh-huh.
nachos.
Yeah.
And I get there and I
Mhm.
order the popcorn and they have machines now so you don't have to talk to people. It's great. But I was using
Yeah.
the machine. There's no pop or there was the popcorn option.
I was gonna say there's
No
no popcorn.
there's
The
no
movie would
popcorn
just
at the
shut down.
movies. God, they was shut down. No nachos. I'm like, well, my second option after the nachos would be like the little pretzel bites, and they didn't even have those. I was
Damn.
mad, but I
I'm
did
glad
get
I didn't want them because I actually usually do want those. So
yeah,
I'm like
but
glad I didn't go for
I did get the mozzarella sticks, and they were as expected, but they were pretty good.
they were AMC nachos. Or no, excuse me, AMC mozzarella sticks. AMC
And it's
nachos.
how like it's like saying, oh, Wawa pizza's good. Like it's you would expect it to taste a certain way, and it did.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Like it's definitely not the best mozzarella sticks you've ever had. But again,
no,
it's like the whole thing of like watching a movie and consuming food, and the fact that AMC is so expansive. Like, I mean, Regal movies like barely exist anymore.
yeah,
And then the only alternative that I know of, I know there's like regional different like
oh
chains
yeah,
of movies in like different cities and stuff. But I guess the only other regional like big chain of movies that I know is like Cinemark.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we don't even have a Regal near me anymore. The biggest Regal that we had was my childhood theater, and it died because of COVID.
Oh
So
no,
R.I.P. to that.
uh,
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like the whole like there was so much. I was so upset about that because there was so much nostalgia attached. Like that was where I saw, I think my first movie, I want to say, but that was when I saw all my like the cornerstones of just like the most important movies I've ever seen was there. Like that was
yeah,
the theater, and it was like a classic. Like it looked like how like movie theaters look in the movies, like it's just a big classic theater. It
yeah,
didn't really look like an AMC. It just had more of like a nostalgic feel
yeah.
to it,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, I was very upset when that closed due to COVID, and they're being wasteful with the space because to this day it closed like I want to say 2 3 years ago, and it's still just sitting there. They don't do nothing with it. I'm like,
Really, at
then
least
why
do
close
something
it?
with it.
Right? Like, why close it? I guess they just lost money and they were just like,
We
fuck
can't
it.
afford. Yeah, they probably couldn't afford the upkeep if no one
Yeah,
can go to the movies.
yeah, yeah. And I guess it was just such a big movie theater overall. Like, the building was gigantic. Like, it was just a giant building. So, like, who knows if there was other, like, issues in there that I
Yeah,
guess they didn't want to upkeep because it's been there since, God, I don't know. I want to say maybe like the 80s,
yeah.
90s. That building was there for a bit, you know? But
I
yeah.
did you like Inside Out 2 better than the first one?
I think I would kind of like put them in a similar caliber. Like I did like them both, and for different reasons. The thing about this one that was different than the first one, I don't know if it was because of like the different topics that they were covering, or I don't know if it's just the way I don't know. The second one didn't get me as emotional as I thought it was gonna get me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess it was more just because of like I don't know the first one. I guess what ruined me in the first one was just the whole Bing Bong thing gets me
That
to this
got me
day.
so much.
When he
Yep.
okay, without saying, spoiler alert for both Inside Out and Inside Out 2. So if you have not seen
Yes.
either of these movies and you do not want to get spoiled, a spoiler warning is in effect. Okay, good. Anyway, so when in the first movie when Bing Bong sacrifices himself, that just always gets
That
me. The
got me
whole
the
line,
most.
to take
Yeah.
her to the moon for me. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I
Like
cried.
that line just like is
Yep.
like a knife to your heart. Like it
Oh
was just
yeah.
so yeah, but in this one there was I did like a lot of like there were like moments where I was like, "Ooh, I feel that." Like I was relating to a lot of what she was going through because in this one, obviously we could see Riley. The first movie is Riley a little bit more of like dealing with the whole issue of like I'm the new kid at school,
Yep.
whereas
Yeah.
this one is like kind of just more like I'm going into like high school and like the whole awkwardness of being a teenager now and all of that. But I didn't really get as emotional as I thought I was gonna get
Yeah.
with this one. Would be the only major difference, I guess, for me.
I feel
What about you?
like the second one I think is more emotional in the sense of like it the topics are a lot deeper, like the emotions.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I felt more emotional when I was watching the first one. Probably because of Bing Bong.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't really have anything that stood out in the second one that was made me like want to cry.
Mhm. Yeah.
I did get a little sad in the second one when they're on their way to hockey camp and their friends are saying, "Oh, we're not going to the same school." You can see
Mhm.
like how upset Riley was. That made me a
Mhm.
little emotional, but not enough to like cry compared to the first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. It was just it's I guess the only like thing that I got real close to almost getting emotional was towards the end of the film, but it was more just like concern or like anticipation of what was going to happen next when towards the end of the film they basically depict Riley having an anxiety attack,
Yeah.
which I am all too familiar with,
Uh
and
huh.
I'm
Me
sure you
too.
are too.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was just kind of like, it wasn't even like emotional. I was just kind of like, it was almost just like a clutching your pearls kind of moment. Just
Yes.
like, oh God,
Like
what's gonna happen?
it
Like
hit a
I
little
feel
too.
you, girl. Like,
Yeah, that hit a little too deep, you know.
uh-huh, uh-huh, yeah,
And there wasn't moments like that in the first one because I guess it's more lighthearted. So
mm-hmm,
obviously you have like joy and anger and sadness, and you know obviously those are emotions that everybody gets. But then anxiety is not something everybody has to deal with.
right,
So like seeing anxiety on the screen, I'm like, oof, yeah,
yeah,
yep,
yeah. And I like
especially
the way they describe the. Oh, I'm sorry. God, I
okay,
didn't mean to cut you off.
especially when it was like in the middle of the film or towards the end when Joy's trying to stop anxiety
Mm-hmm.
and anxiety is just running around the table and you can see like this not sparks but like you can see whatever they're called like the outline of um anxiety around the whole table.
Yeah, she's just kind of just like tweaking out, just like
Yeah.
trying to control
And
literally everything.
yeah, and then Joy goes into like anxiety's like tunnel and then
Mm-hmm.
anxiety's not moving. But like from the outside it looks like she just keeps going, but then she's in the tunnel and anxiety's just standing there doing nothing.
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Yep, that's how that feels." Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and kudos because I was reading some like behind the scenes like just sort of like how they came up with all of this like the concept of like the second movie, and I know that in the first movie they did consult with like psychologists and sociologists and all of that, and they did this again. But what they also did was what I thought was interesting, and I was like, chef's kiss, wonderful that they wanted to include. They actually brought in teenage girls. I don't know how many. I want to say somewhere in between, like maybe like 10 to 12 like teenage girls around the age that Riley is, and they straight up just like talk to them about their feelings and
Oh, yeah.
incorporated that
Hmm.
into the script along with again, I think they did work with like um people that like study personality and like
Yeah.
psychologists and sociologists, but then they also brought in, because I guess maybe when they were considering like the first concept, I guess they didn't know like how expansive they were going to go like with the first movie, but I
Hmm.
liked with this how they literally brought in teenagers and they were like, well, how do you feel about this? How do you think Riley would react to this? I'm just like,
Yep.
that is genius,
Yes.
because who's going to know them better than
Yeah,
themselves?
because
It's
they're going
great.
through the same things she's going through.
Exactly. Like
Yep.
it was just a great, when I found that out, I was like, "Ooh, that is so smart. That is so smart."
And I
And I think
love,
that's why it
yeah.
translated so well on the screen, and that's why even when we're watching it as being in our 20s, we're still looking at it and be like, "Oh God, there was times when I was her." You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Especially
Yeah.
during the anxiety attack. She was in the
Mhm.
middle of playing hockey. And the whole point
Yeah.
of that section was anxiety kept telling Riley, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not
Mhm.
good enough. Like, I need to be friends with these people. I need to, like, oh, this person got 2 goals. So in order for me to be on the team, I need to get 3 goals because that's how that
Yeah.
works. And then she kept saying,
Mhm.
like, I'm not good enough. And then obviously Riley is now starting to think of that.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then she gets a penalty and she's in the penalty box. And that's when she has the anxiety attack. And
Mhm.
even like it translated so well
Mhm.
because like you can see like she's freaking out and she's like crying and she's just like heavy breathing. Like they were showing it really well on screen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was such an interesting time for that to happen, because I think that they really went out of their way to show like not only just like the physical like symptoms of it,
Yeah.
but also like the emotional, like the detail of putting her in the penalty box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
Like sometimes when you have an anxiety attack, like it feels like you are stuck in this little
you are,
state
like,
and you're
yeah.
not going to get out of it. You
And
know what I
there's,
mean?
yeah, and there's nowhere she can go. She's
Yeah.
literally just stuck. And, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, and I think that scene alone could just be like, and that probably is like the best part, like not the best part, but like
Yeah.
most well done, well executed part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the whole idea of like the parallel of like in the first movie, like with Joy, and like I like the emotions realizing that they have to work together
Yeah.
and that they need each other,
Hmm.
like how in the first one, I also really liked in the first one the concept of and another thing in the first one that did make me emotional was towards the end of the first movie when Sadness and Joy realize that they need to complement each other,
Yep.
because she does in the end need both emotions, because you can't just be all happy or all
Hmm.
sad. That's not what a person is, a complete person. You know what I mean? You need these different emotions
Yeah.
to be like balanced. So I like the part when they had I think it was a certain core memory that they had, and they both touch it at the same
Oh,
time and they
yeah. And
kind
it's
of
like
like
both of
combine
them.
it,
Yep.
and then they start to realize that the emotions can be combined, like when in the control panel or whatever, how they have the little like memories that like flow around, then you
Yeah.
start to see the different memories have like different colors mixed in. Like you'll see like a memory that's like green and purple, like a mix of fear and disgust,
Yep.
or a mix of anger and joy. And I was just like, that was beautiful.
Yes.
And then in the
Yep.
second movie, that also happened again when anxiety and joy realized that they need to work together, and then they all just kind of like hugged at
Yeah. At
the
the
end
very
to
end,
kind of
they,
like
yep.
bring Riley together and like make her whole and bring her back
Yeah.
to being herself and take her out of that
Because I
attack that she
think,
was having.
yeah, and during like the beginning of the film, when they have like, I guess it's not her memory, but like, the thing that was like floating? What was that? I can't remember. It wasn't a core memory, but it was like the thing that kind of looked like a flower. You know what I'm talking about?
It's like her like sense of self or
Yeah,
something. They say it's like her personality, maybe,
yeah. And
or
you
like
can
her.
tell, like in the beginning, it was very
Because
much
Joy
like,
goes later, she goes, "This is Riley."
yeah,
Like I don't know. I
yeah.
guess it
Because in
maybe
the
is like it's
beginning,
supposed to represent like a sense of self. I guess
yeah, and you can
I want
tell
to
in the
say.
beginning, like Joy was kind of taking over, and
Mhm.
kind of getting rid of any memories that weren't necessarily the best to have, and she
Mhm.
would just kind of put them on the back burner and then make sure that all the good memories are staying in the sense of self.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
anxiety came along, and anxiety's like, screw that, and then
Mhm.
put that on the back burner and made a whole new one that was just anxiety ridden. And I'm like, yeah, anxiety will
Mhm.
do that to you. And
Yeah.
then you can see a lot of the core memories started turning orange like anxiety
Mhm. Yeah.
because it makes you feel that way.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah. I think it was.
one of my other favorites,
Mhm.
embarrassment.
Oh my god.
I
He
loved
was
him.
adorable.
It was
He
so
was
cute.
adorable.
And
And I loved that him and
yes,
Sadness kind of counteracted each
I
other, and they almost
know.
ended up being like little buddies.
I know.
Like I
And I
love when
love,
she would reach out to him and she kept going, "Hi, big guy."
yes. But then he would get so embarrassed that he would pull his hoodie and just hide his entire face.
Yeah. And then there's one point where he got so embarrassed that he just like plopped on the ground, I
Yep.
think. And then that paralleled Sadness too, because that's what she does when she gets overcome with sadness. She like plops on the ground. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I like that they had their little
Yep.
dynamic.
And
And then
when
we have a couple other emotions too that showed up.
oh yes,
New emotions. We have who else is envy, right?
envy.
Yeah. And then we have ennui, or
Yeah. What?
what you Americans call the boredom.
Yeah. I couldn't like I didn't know what that term meant until like I was watching the movie.
Yeah, yeah, I had never heard it. It was not, like, a common
It's not a
term,
common
but I just
term.
thought it was
Yeah.
such a random choice to, like, make her
Yes.
French. She's just, like, detached and,
Yep.
like, just, like, whatever you stupid emotions.
Yes.
And then I love how she's basically, like, the iPad kid of
Yep.
them. She's just, like,
And
detached and just, like, on the phone, just
yeah, and she's but when you look at her, she's just like emo.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like I thought it was so funny too, the concept that they bring into this of her having the console. Like the console is literally right there, like
And
in
she
front of them.
yes.
But
Yep.
she still has the little phone with like the little
Yeah, so she
app.
can
She's like
but it's funny
it's a
cuz
console app.
she can easily change the console at any point in time, but she
Uh-huh.
just doesn't care.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
perfect.
literally.
Like she
That's so
could
funny because
just
she could have
yeah,
altered. There could have been a lot of things that have gone differently in this movie, or like she could have like stopped certain things, or if she wanted to be more of like, I guess they kind of like almost made anxiety like the antagonist of this
yeah,
movie. I mean, it makes sense because anxiety is an antagonist in real life. It
yeah,
does not want you to succeed, So it wouldn't have made sense if like anxiety was like a good guy, I guess. But it's
yeah,
funny because Ennui is just literally just sitting there and she could have also been like fuel to the fire or like making things worse, but she's just like, I do not care.
yeah. And it says it says it the ennui is boredom, and then it says a state of feeling disinterested in one's surroundings, having nothing to do, or feeling that life is dull. Yeah, she just
Yeah,
literally was just like, eh.
yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense too that they brought her in because the emotions that they brought in are, I guess, emotions that do come about or can be prevalent in like teenagers.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, embarrassment, obviously, like, "Oh, life is so embarrassing, you know
Yes.
what I mean? When you're a
Yeah.
teenager, and then envious, you're always just constantly looking around people, and, like, I love the line when Envy's like, "Look at her hair," like, "I want
Yes.
her hair," you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then you got Ennui who's, like, boredom, just, like, disinterested, like what you said, just, like, basically, like, the emo teen, just like, "Oh, I don't care." And then you
Like
have anxiety,
yeah,
like, it was such good choices for new emotions,
yeah,
being that Riley was turning into being a
yeah.
teenager.
Because I definitely had phases like that as a teenager. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
also, I know it was a short character that wasn't in it that much, but
Yeah.
when she nostalgia came in, I was dying.
She's great.
This
Do you
little
know who plays
lady.
her? Do you know who plays her?
What?
This
Yeah.
actress name her name is June Squibb. That's
Wait,
the
but what was
actress's
she,
name that plays
I
her.
see her
I think
face.
she was in a couple different things. We're gonna well, she actually did I do wanna see a movie that came out this year with her called, Thelma, where she plays, like, a grandma that gets, like, scammed over the phone, and then she, like,
Oh
goes on
my,
a mission to,
that
like,
sounds like
get
that would
back
be
her
really
money.
funny.
I know, like, she literally gets, like, scammed like, you know how, like, they'll do those, like, scams where they, like, call them and they're like, I watched the trailer and it's like she gets called by like somebody pretending to be her grandson. He's like, "I'm in
Oh,
jail," and then he's
yeah,
like, "I need this money. You have to bring this money here right now." And she don't know. You know what I mean? She's like
yeah,
older, so she don't know. And then she goes on like a John Wick X like funny mission to like get her money back after
yeah.
she gets scammed. But I'm trying to see what else
Oh,
she was
apparently I
in.
never, because it started in 2023. Apparently, that two
Wait, what's up?
seasons. The show Velma started in 2023, which I never realized.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically Velma from Scooby Doo. It's based off of her.
Oh, Velma. I was talking about the movie Thelma.
Oh, Thelma. Oh, she's in a show called Velma, and I was like, oh, huh,
No, 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 Thelma.
no.
T
Oh,
H E
Thelma.
L M A.
Oh, I see, I see.
But I heard that Velma show was not good, so
No, well,
I'm
I
not gonna
won't
watch
watch it
it.
then. When
But I
does?
know this lady has been in like other things. Like I think she just gets typecasted as like quote unquote like sassy grandma, like that
Yeah,
type thing. Oh my god, that's funny though. This actress was also in Velma. Like she's in the movie
yeah.
Thelma, and then she's also
That's
in
why when
Velma.
you said Thelma, and I was on the
No
screen for Velma, and I was like, oh,
way.
okay.
She also that's funny.
She's in a
Well, she
lot of
plays.
stuff.
She's in 2 episodes of Velma as older woman.
Yeah, there's always, and then in Big Bang Theory, she plays Sheldon's grandmother,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she is just
I
the just
like
old
typecast
lady.
of like an old lady, but like
Yeah,
she always like says some like outlandish like things.
yeah.
I think that she's just been typecasted a couple times as like quote unquote like sassy grandma, like
Oh
that type.
yeah.
Yeah. I want to say, was she in the movie You Again? Why do I feel like she was in that movie?
No,
I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing her up.
no.
I'm mixing her up with. Am I mixing her up with like Cloris Leachman or another
Yeah, I
woman?
think it's Cloris
Sorry
Leachman.
to be ageist on the pod. We don't stand
She's
ageism.
ageist. But Cloris Leachman. No, no, no. You Again had Betty White in it.
Okay. See,
I gotta watch that
damn,
one.
Betty White's gonna smite me from above. I'm so
I
sorry.
know. Rest in peace.
But yeah, she's got a lot of good credits to her name. But yeah, when nostalgia would randomly come in and just be like,
Yes.
"Remember that time when
And
we rode our
but yeah,
bike?"
and she was the typical old lady.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
curly gray hair, glasses, walked real slow.
Uh-huh.
And then I forget which character it was, but one of them was like, don't worry, like go back, we'll call you in 10 years when there's like a wedding.
It might have been anxiety. It was either
It probably
anxiety or joy
anxiety.
that said that to her. Because I feel like she was a part of the. She came in with the new group of emotions, so
Yeah.
like
But she was,
Joy and
yeah,
the OGs like didn't really know like who she was. I
yeah.
think it was anxiety. It was like, we'll call you back in a couple years when there's a wedding and
Yeah,
a reunion. Or
yeah. It's
she's like,
so,
okay.
but she
She just
would
goes
just
back in like her
randomly
little
like,
closet. Like I don't even
yeah.
know where she.
I don't know where she comes from. She just comes in and she's like, okay. And then she leaves. And you're like, where? Yes. But that is
But
how
that's funny
nostalgia is,
because
too, when you think
yeah, I
about
was
it.
about to say that's how it just like ran. Like you'll just be thinking of something or like something reminds you of like a memory, and then you're just like, remember that time?
Yes. Or do you ever have nostalgia with like smells?
Oh
Like
yeah,
something will, and then I'm like, why does this smell like eighth grade? And you're like, I
yeah,
don't know what's going on,
yeah,
but like this reminds me of this exact moment. And
yeah.
I don't know why it's
There's a
like,
certain type of plastic that's like a smell, and like it's in the, like a lot of like cosmetic products and stuff. There's like a plastic that always reminds me of just like having like makeup, like toy makeup when I was younger, or like
oh yeah.
certain like
Hmm.
the plastic that I'm talking about. It's like the same type of plastic that would be in like Polly Pocket and like that type of
Yes.
deal. And then I'm just like, why am I getting like
Yeah.
visions of just like opening like my toy chest when I was like
Hmm.
8 years old?
Yes.
Like, oh,
And you know what?
God.
I was looking into it, and I think
Hmm.
you said this in our group chat, but like a lot of the emotions are not the same people from the original Inside Out.
Yeah, there was two that were replaced. Fear and Disgust. In the
Yeah.
first movie, they were originally played by Fear was Bill Hader of
Oh yeah.
SNL fame, and obviously he was in movies after that. But SNL is what he's most primarily known for.
Yeah.
And then also the show Barry. I can't
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
that show enough. It's very good. It's on HBO. Wild concept. Check it out if you haven't. But he was originally the voice of Fear, and then the original voice of Disgust was Mindy Kaling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then something about like negotiating salaries just didn't work out, so they didn't come back, unfortunately. But the new actors that they got to replace them, I know Fear is now played by Tony Hale,
Oh, I've
and
seen him in a lot of
he,
things as like an
yeah,
extra.
yeah, he's in like a lot of random stuff. I mean, he's most known for the show Arrested Development.
Hmm.
He's in that show. He kind of like plays like one of the well, that's all about like a family, like the Bluth family, and he's one of the like sons in the family named Buster Bluth is his name.
And have
And
you
then let me
ever
see who now
seen
plays.
The Heat?
Yeah, yeah, I have.
He was in that as an extra because Melissa
Oh,
McCarthy's
okay.
a cop, and
Mhm.
so you can see him sitting in his car, like I think buying drugs from like a prostitute or something. And then so obviously Miss McCarthy goes over and notices, and she pretends her phone's not working,
Mhm.
and then she calls his wife on the phone
Yeah.
and calls him out on it over the phone. And the wife's like, "Oh, it happens all like this isn't the first time this has happened," and she like breaks his arm or something. It's really funny. That's what I remember him from.
Yeah, and then the actress that they got to replace Discuss, her name is Liza Lapira, and I don't know her from much. Like I don't recognize like I'm looking at her like IMDb credits right now, and I don't think she was in anything that I remember in. They said she was. Oh, you know what's random? You know what's the only thing I recognize her from? Did you ever see Crazy Stupid Love?
A long time ago.
The friend that Emma Stone has with her at the bar when she like meets Ryan Gosling for like the
Ah,
first time, like at the bar. Yeah, that's her. I know. Like that's the only thing
yeah,
I'm
I
looking at
probably
her like
recognize her from
IMDb.
that.
Yeah, I literally only recognize her from that because they said she's plays Emma Stone's friend in Crazy Stupid Love, and then I remember it's like the friend that's like with her at the bar because Emma Stone's being like really nonchalant about flirting with Ryan Gosling, and then the friend's just like, "You are gorgeous." Like that's
Yeah,
that's who she is, and I'm like, wait, I'm trying to see if I know her from anything else, but
no, I tried to look
I'm
it up.
not
I
familiar
don't.
with her
Yeah,
work otherwise. But she did good in this movie.
yeah. I just
Yeah,
wish,
she did
like, I
good.
do like the new people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is like, how hard is it? I'm not in the industry, but like, they couldn't negotiate to keep the people. Like, did they
Yeah,
just
and
not want to
it was super
pay them
weird.
enough? Like, I guess we don't
I
really
don't
know,
know.
but
With Bill Hader, I could honestly believe that it was like a scheduling conflict because he,
yeah,
from time to time, is more like he writes a lot of things, and then also he that show I think is I don't know if Barry's done or if it's still ongoing. So like I don't know if like maybe he was making like the last season of that show
yeah,
or something like that, but I'm not sure. Maybe the same thing with Mindy Kaling because I know she does write and direct things now.
yeah.
So
So
maybe it
she,
wasn't
yeah,
just salary things. Maybe it was scheduling conflicts. Maybe it was something that happened with like the writer's strike. I don't know. Could be a
yeah.
million things. I don't know. But I think they did good. I
I
like
like them.
all the voices here. I like the bit in this the second movie about when they go into well when the new emotions decide to get rid of the original emotions, the OGs, they turn them into, as they say, we are suppressed emotions.
Yes,
And then they go
this,
into like the little jail and
yes,
they have
yep,
to get broken out by like the random
yes,
people that are like suppressed. I guess they're like suppressed parts of like Riley's mind. And then they have that whole bit where like Disgust is like in love with the video game character.
yes.
She's like, oh, I think Lance. I want to say his name. She's like Lance. I
And
thought
do
that
you
was a
know
funny bit.
who plays the coach in the second one? The
Wait,
hockey
who?
coach? Yvette
Who?
Nicole Brown. She
Queen. I love
and
her.
I
Oh
the
my god.
only thing, and I know this is gonna be awful for the only thing I know her from is
Yeah.
Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
when she plays.
No, really, no, but really though, you know what line of hers that I always think of? I forget what it is. It's like somebody says it, like somebody goes, I want to say maybe it's Josh. He goes something like, "Oh no, it's an episode where it's Drake and Josh, and they're pretending to dress up as like the older men or whatever in the
Yeah.
theater." And they go, "Pip, pip, the doodly do," and they walk away, and she goes, "Pip, pip, the doodly do." I'm gonna start saying that.
Yes. I
Like that's
gotta.
the one.
Her lines always crack me up.
Yeah, she was always so funny.
Yes.
But she was in. Let's see what else is
She's
she like
probably in a
prominently
lot
known
of
for. She
stuff.
actually does a lot of. I'm
Yeah.
looking at like her like credits now. She does a lot of children's voice work. It looks like, which I
Yeah.
guess is also why they probably casted her for this. Like I'm looking like her last. I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. At least her last 10 to 12 credits have all been voice acting in like children's
Yeah.
programming, which is good. Get that bag, sis. But
That's
she's also really known for being in the show Community. I hear great things about Community. I haven't watched it
me
yet,
neither.
but there's a lot of memes that come from it, like that meme where he's walking into the room and everything's on fire. Like that's from Community.
You
Like
know
the guy
what?
with the pizza box like walks into the room,
Oh.
like everything's on
Mhm.
fire. You know what I'm talking about?
Do
Yeah.
you like my favorite line that Helen says in Drake and
hmm
Josh? Well, and I think she says it all the time, but she's like, "That is not my job."
That is not my job. Yep.
I love it.
That is not. I think obviously mine is because I brought it up the pip pip the doodly do. I'm
Yes.
gonna start saying.
I'm gonna start saying that.
Just
It's
silly.
great.
See again, just like Riley's mind, it's just like the random
Then
suppressed like things. Like I don't have knowledge of things that I should, but I remember these lines
oh
from
yeah,
Drake and Josh that I saw 10 years
yeah.
ago.
The things I remember is insane.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess it's because it is nostalgia for us to watch shows like that.
100%.
Yep. But sometimes I
Yeah.
will randomly think of like TV shows and movies, and I'm like, I should watch that again. And I'll go on Disney Plus and
hmm
just rewatch like all the stuff. Like I was rewatching
Yeah.
Sunny with a Chance the other day,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, like it was the corniest show, and it's all
hmm
corny because it's on Disney. But like,
Yeah.
I rewatched like the first few episodes. I'm like, I was obsessed,
hmm
and I still remembered every single line.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does my brain remember this? But things I need to do for work, I can't seem to remember.
Right. This later this month, I was on Netflix just like browsing, and I saw at the end of the month, Shrek, like the OG original first one, is leaving Netflix. So the other night, I want to say it was maybe like Sunday night. I want to say I was just like I just popped it on and just watched it, and it was a
Yeah,
good time because I had not watched the first one in so long. 'Cause a lot of times I default to the second one because that's my favorite, but
yeah.
I hadn't watched the first original Shrek in so long, and boy was I quoting that up and down, back and forth.
Oh yeah. And I don't know,
You know,
like and
the nostalgia
especially
in our minds, like the little grandma emotion in there, and nostalgia. She is
oh
not in
she's
the back of the like. She's not hid away. She's there, like in
she's
the.
there.
She's at the control panel. For me, she's at the control panel in my mind.
And
I
also
think.
in the first Shrek movie, now that we're
Uh-huh.
talking about nostalgia, the first Shrek movie when they get to the castle and the little
Mhm.
like people are singing.
Yeah. Shine your shoes. Wipe your face.
Exactly. That's the thing I remember the most from that movie.
And then Donkey goes, "Let's do that again." Shrek
Was-
goes,
No.
"No." He goes,
And I
"No,
would
no,
see
no."
like ogres or like onions, they have layers, like those
Mhm.
those quotes are like they stick with you forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many memes that are just used every day. Like Shrek is just like a literal like I honestly combine that and SpongeBob, and that's like the foundation for like most memes on the
Yeah.
internet. Literally. Like the part they use this all the time in like things about like critiques of like our government and political thing when Farquaad goes, "Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice that I'm
Yes.
willing to make." And
Yep.
everybody's like, "T, but it's just, that's our government right
Yeah.
there."
That's our government. That and golf, you know.
Yeah. God, please.
But yeah, SpongeBob quotes are the same way.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I will, and especially like you will see. I think it's Sandy, and she's like, "Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else. And Patrick goes, not until
Not
4.
until 4. Yeah, see, it's at the point
We're
where like
like,
if
we're
you
like,
say the
yeah,
first part of a quote, I'm most likely, you know what I mean? Like if one of us would say the first part of a quote, the other one could most likely finish the quote.
yeah.
That's just
Or
how
it's like, oh
ingrained.
boy, 3 a.m. And then he wakes up and eats a Krabby Patty. I'm like,
That was me. That was me at school with my bed sleep habit, just like randomly waking up, like eat my leftovers.
yeah,
Yeah, because in senior year, my roommate was like basically the roommate that was on my side of
oh
the
god, yep, yeah,
room was like
yeah,
barely there. So I was basically like on the side of my room, like you and Brie were on the other side, and then I was basically on the side by myself. So I was
yeah.
just like, if I got up in the middle of the night and reheated like fries at like 3 a.m., it didn't really bother
Hmm.
me. Oh my
It's
god.
do I have oh also because we're always off topic, but I
Yeah,
have a cat story.
you
So
do.
I was taking Niall to work today,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to retest his.
Mr. Niall, we love him.
We love him. He's great most of the time. And then, so I wanted to recheck his urine, and I
Mm-hmm.
figured the most sanitary way would be to do a cysto, and just like
Mm-hmm.
where they get the needle, stick it in his bladder, and pull it out. I feel like
Yeah.
that's the best way only because there's no cross contamination anywhere, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
straight whatever. So I have to make sure that he doesn't use the litter box overnight. So the last time I did
Oh.
this, I just stuck him in my room, and then in the morning when I was ready to go, I put him in the carrier, took him to work, and didn't let him drink anything. And then there was enough pee in there that they could do it. So I'm like, well, it
Mm-hmm.
worked last time. Like, I'm just going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And he also needs gabapentin before vet visits. So I gave him 2
He
cc's
needs
of,
his little vet medicine. It's okay.
yeah, it's fine.
Whatever
It,
gets the job done, you know?
it definitely does. And so
And
I gave
he gets
him,
zooted after and takes a nice nap. So
oh, he was sleeping almost the entire time at work today.
hey,
I mean, that gabapentin hits like no other.
when that gabapentin hit, that
Yes.
feel when that gabapentin hit.
And we should at some point post that picture of Niall after
Yeah,
gabapentin. It's so funny. He's
you
like
can make
eyes.
it a meme, honestly, if you want to for this
Honestly, his eyes
episode
are
when that
so
gabapentin.
glossy. Um,
He was on
like
that good.
the goods.
That's
Yes.
the premium gabapentin.
How premium can it be?
Yeah, stop. This is
The
Dad.
good.
It's a good. See, I
It's from the
knew
dollar
again
store.
with
How
the stuff.
good can it be?
Yeah.
And then so I originally I'm only supposed to give it 2 hours before.
Mhm.
But the last time that didn't really do much for him, and
Yeah.
it wasn't strong enough. So my manager was like, you can also give it the night before and then 2 hours before. So I'm like, all right.
Mhm.
So around 10:30, I gave him the gabapentin, and I locked him in my room with me so that he couldn't use the litter box. And I was like, we're gonna get this. We're fine. Did it before. Tell me why you would. Gabapentin is one of those medications that causes drowsiness. So you would think
Mhm.
that like maybe an hour later he would not want to do anything.
Right.
But no, he's up my face. Like he's like practically sitting on my face. He's rubbing against me, which is fine, but he's not gentle with it. So like when he's rubbing against my face, he's like slamming. Like I'm surprised my nose isn't broken. Like he's that hardcore about it. Sir,
He's just like, Mom. This is,
and
if he could ball his fist, he would just be like, Wake up.
yeah, and then he's licking my face. And you know
Aw.
cat tongues are very like weird.
Yeah.
So it feels
Little
weird when
sandpaper
yeah,
tongues they got.
yeah, and so it feels weird when they
I
lick
like to
you.
call
So he's licking my face, licking my eyebrow, licking everything he can on my face. He's purring really loudly. He's on my chest, but then he's trying to climb my headboard. Sir, you're on gabapentin.
Sir,
Why are
did this
you?
give the, you know what, it might be like certain things where it's like gives the opposite effect. maybe Niall just has ADHD.
He
Maybe I
maybe
don't
he
know.
does.
So,
And
I
so I'm
don't
like,
know.
whatever. Like, finally, he got tired enough and he, like, stopped bothering me. And then I woke up in the morning at like 7, gave him 2 more cc's of gabapentin,
Hmm.
and then stuck him in the carrier, got ready, and I was like, all right, like, I'm good to go to work. But this
Hmm.
time he didn't hold his bladder. So when I got to work and I let him out, so much, because he was holding his bladder the entire night.
Hmm.
So he peed everywhere in the cat carrier, and it
Oh,
was a lot of pee. And then
my god.
he got out of the carrier. It's the entire backside is wet. He's walking around the doctor's office at work, just dripping pee everywhere.
You're like, Niall's here. God.
And then my coworker was like, "I'll help you clean it." I'm like, "Thanks." I'm like, "Guess he's pissed off today." 'Cause last time it worked just fine. He
No,
didn't.
could you
Yeah,
imagine if your coworker did the that is not my job.
that is not my job. She was like, "I'm gonna see Niall," and then I opened the carrier and he's just peeing everywhere, and I'm like, "Great."
Oh my god. You're like, oh,
And he already has
hi.
urine. He has like urine issues, so I'm like, "Great, this is exactly what I need." And so I
Right.
still tested his urine, but I didn't do it the way I wanted to.
Hmm.
So, but now he's
How
still.
did you manage it though, being that he had gone everywhere? Like, what did you
So like there was
do?
enough in the cat carrier because I have a hard carrier. So there was enough in there that I was
Oh,
able to use a syringe and get all the urine out.
nice. Okay.
And I
Women
tested
in
it.
STEM.
Yeah,
We
and I
love
still
it.
tested it, but I got annoyed because it's like, is there going to be some cross contamination because it's sitting in the
And the
carrier,
carrier. Right.
not, you know, from his body himself?
Yeah.
And my manager said it was fine. Apparently, if you do a urine culture, which we did on him once, that has to be a cysto. But if you're just
Mm,
doing like a regular urinalysis, you can get it however you get it.
okay.
And
So
then,
one matters more for the cross
yeah.
contamination than the other. Okay. Got
And
it.
then so I retested his urine at work. Still blood in his urine, you know.
No, no, sir,
And then
no.
so my boss wasn't there today, but I was messaging her about it.
Mhm.
She said it seems like the blood in his urine is consistent, like every time you test it. That's the problem. There's nothing else that's wrong with his urine. Otherwise, his white blood cells are low, so that's not an
Yeah.
indication of anything bad. So she doesn't think it's a UTI. She
Mhm.
said it's, what's the term? I gotta find it. FLUTD. So
Mm.
it's feline lower urinary tract disease. It's
Oh,
very common
no.
in cats. So of course my manager's not there, and I don't want to bother her too much if she's not actually in the office. But I did send her the UA results and everything, and um, so hopefully when she gets back in the office, we can work on it. But I was texting one of my other doctors that used to work with us, and I
Mhm.
said, "Do you know what this is?" Because our manager thinks that he has it, and she's like, "Yep, it's pretty common in cats." I said, "Is it bad?" Because Google makes it seem bad, but Google also makes
Yeah, you
everything seem bad.
Google anything and it's like
You're dying.
cancer, death. You will die tomorrow.
And you're
Like
like, I just have a cough that
good
won't
old
go away,
WebMD,
chronic
you know?
cough. And you're like, okay.
Right.
I did that once in
Long
college.
COVID. No, like
Yeah, like I did it in college because I was sick and then still coughing like 3 weeks later. It's like,
God,
why am I like
college
coughing
was a
so
I used to
much?
get sick so much. I
Yeah.
think maybe it was like also when we were like I got so sick when we were like at a dorm, like just
Hmm.
staying at the dorm because I think we were just like interacting with people so much like day
Yeah.
to day. Like especially, what blows my mind that I think about when in I believe it was sophomore year when we didn't have our own bathroom.
Oh
Oh,
God.
Like I think about that all the time, and
Yep.
I'm just like, no. Like we shared a bathroom
Like
with a
20.
floor of
Yeah.
people, and granted, it was an all women's. I want to say it was an all women's floor, right?
Yeah, I think they separated. One
They
side was all
separated like
girls, and then the
the
guys were
girls
on
and
the
the
other
boys,
end.
so at least we were all set, like
Yeah.
sharing a bathroom with like all girls at least. But like,
Yeah.
still, I think about that. I'm like, oh, like just
Yeah.
that alone. I'm just like, how did we do that for like a whole year?
Yeah, and then but when you Google any symptoms, it's like, oh, tomorrow's your last day, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, literally.
okay, I'm dying tomorrow then. But I asked her,
Yeah,
I'm like, is it bad? Because
little MMD.
Like when you Google things, you're like, okay. So when I Googled it, it was explaining it, but at the bottom it was like, oh, if it's not managed well, some owners might consider humane euthanasia or rehoming. I was like, huh?
Hell no.
I was like, first of all, I would never rehome, and the only way I would put them down is if it was medically necessary. But like,
Yeah,
why would you put that on the front page when you Google that? Like you're scaring
yeah,
people. But
yeah. I know. It's all like reactionary
yeah,
things. It's
and then so I was like,
a lot of the internet.
and then I was like, is it bad? Because Google. And she's like, yeah, it just means he's sensitive. And she said it means he gets inflammation in his bladder whenever he gets really stressed. So
Oh no.
he's on special food to help with it. And you just have to make sure you're watching for any straining when he's going to the bathroom. Because if it's straining, then he could flare more. Um,
Right.
and so he should stay on the food that he's on currently. And if you notice any flare ups, so any like clinical signs, then he would need pain medication and anti inflammatory meds. And she said the treatment stuff is normally short term since you don't want to keep them on anti inflammatories for long term.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're keeping up with the management, it's totally fine. Obviously, there are probably
Yeah.
some people that can't do that or are not paying attention enough. But like, geez, great. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have all your stuff with Lemmy all the time in his eyes and.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Niles going through it. Mr. Niles
Mm-hmm.
going through it. Yeah, we had a little bit of this like scare, like just like a little bit of anxiety ridden week, a little
Yeah.
bit with Lemmy because when he was going to the bathroom last weekend, like or towards like I want to say like towards like Thursday, Friday, like that part of the week, um, he did go to the bathroom and we found a little bit of blood in his stool.
Mm.
Our boys and their blood. What's going on?
I
But
know.
we did get his stool tested, and there's no parasites in it, and they didn't find anything worth like worrying about. Like there's nothing else they indicated with
Yeah.
what's going on with him. Um, and he has been having like issues. Like I'd been I don't know if I said it on the pod or not, but he's actually in the room with me and trying to eat my hair tie. Stop it, little buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's chilling out with me. But they did find like when we tested his he got blood work done because he had been a little fussy with like eating his food. Like he would consistently usually eat his like wet food, but he had just been wanting to eat that less and less.
Yeah.
So now we switched him to dry food. He's liking that quite a bit. He consistently goes over when he wants. But when we took him to the vet initially to find out like what's going on, if there was something going on with his tummy or whatever, they did find that he in his blood work they had an elevated white blood cell count, but
Mm.
nothing else that they did in the blood work and nothing else in his stool indicated anything else was going on. So they don't know if that's just like we don't know exactly what is causing that. They did say he has a little bit of like inflammation, but that could be due to like what else he has going on with like
Yeah.
his other issues. So right now, nothing else has changed. He's not like nothing changed in like his play or like his energy
Yeah, and
levels
he's
or
still going to the bathroom
anything.
and eating.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like he's eating the dry food consistently, and now what we do is instead of relying because we used to put his pill in the wet food and then he would just eat the wet food, but now that he's not eating the wet food anymore, now we're relying on the lovely invention of pill pockets.
I can't. My cat's.
Yeah, we
It doesn't work. for my cats.
Yeah, we have to. We just like we get him to eat it. It's a little bit of a struggle, but like he can't eat the pills like with his dry food, so like
Yeah.
we have to do like little pill pockets with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Sticks.
he's doing good, and he gets a little echo done next week. So we'll see what's going on with
Yes.
him.
I
But
feel
man,
like for Stick,
our little furry boys and their little furry
yeah,
problems, you know.
Sticks is fine for right now. But she did
Six
have
is like, I'm perfectly healthy. Excuse me.
she did have a sneezing. She was sneezing for about a week, and then her eyes were all goopy and runny. But she's fine now. She did have blood in her stool a few months ago.
Yeah, I think you did mention that
Yeah.
the first time when we talked about their little like
Mhm.
health journeys, but you said
Yeah.
that just went away with her, right? Nothing
Yeah,
else
it was
came of
like
that.
on and off for like a week. It would be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I would see something on Monday and not see something until like Wednesday, and then
Yeah.
not see something again until like Sunday. And
Mm-hmm.
that happened for like a week and a half. And
Yeah.
then I did probiotics just to help with her stool anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I just made sure there was nothing else that she could get into that she might have that would
What do
have.
you do with like probiotics? Do they just take it? Like, how do you administer that to them?
There's, well,
I'm
the
curious.
type that we
Maybe
have
good for
two
him.
at work. So we
Mm-hmm.
have Fortiflora for dogs
Okay.
and cats. And then that's just the powder that you sprinkle on the food. So it's
Oh,
easy
okay.
enough, just, and I don't think it's flavored in any way.
Can they put it on like dry food, or does it
I
got to be
do
wet
dry
food
food.
specifically? Okay.
I'm assuming you can put on the wet food, but I did it
Mm-hmm.
on both of their dry foods when they
Mm-hmm.
were having like diarrhea and like softer stools, and that seemed to help. And
Okay.
then
Hmm.
when she was having
Might
the
have to look
blood and
into that with
yeah,
this little guy if he
yeah,
starts getting. We haven't seen it, thank God, since like, um, well, my fiance took the stool to get taken care of on Monday. We
yeah,
hadn't seen it since like it was two times that it happened. It happened like I think Thursday night, and then we didn't see it on Friday, and then it happened again on Saturday. But it hasn't happened since then.
yeah.
So hopefully
And
that
then
goes away.
that's pretty easy to do. And then there's one called Proviable,
Okay.
which is also for cats and dogs. And so that
Mhm.
has two things that go with it. So you have the pill form, and I just break open the pill because it's like a soft pill, and I just break it open and sprinkle the powder on the food because trying to get them to take a pill would be insane, like a capsule. So I just open the
Yeah.
capsule and sprinkle it on. But it also
Yeah.
comes with a paste.
Oh.
And so
Okay.
you use both. I think like I think the paste you're supposed to do twice a day, and maybe the capsules like once a day. It says it on the box.
Mhm.
That also seemed to work. And I know a lot of the doctors at work prefer that over the Fortiflora, but both work just fine. And I think
Okay.
they're both over the
Well,
counter, so you should just be able to go to like Chewy and get them.
yeah. Yeah. That's how we
Or
get
like at, yeah.
all of his meds. Chewy is such an amazing invention
Hmm.
because I would be annoyed if we had to like physically go to where he'd get like you know what I mean to get his
Yeah.
like medication every time, and I don't think there would be any other option besides Chewy to get it delivered. So
Yeah.
that's our goal for this pod actually is to get a sponsor from Chewy eventually.
Chewy, honestly,
Honestly,
Chewy,
that would be
we're
fucking
like,
cool.
yeah. Honestly, any pet related people, feel free.
You know how we can
Chewy,
get a pet related
Petco,
sponsor, please.
Hills. Please sponsor me, Hills, because at work, we actually partner with Hills at work. And so,
Okay. So you
we,
probably have more of an in than I would. I mean, you
yeah,
also work in a field with
I do.
animals. I work in a field with people. So
People, yeah. Well, and then so we work, like, we're partnered with Hills, and that's
hmm
the food, the only food that we buy for staff members is from Hills because we get, like, the discounts and everything.
nice.
So I get something that would cost me like 60 or $70 from Hills, cost me like $20 at work. I'm like, this is so nice.
That is really
It's
nice.
really, and
And
then,
I
yeah,
know that's like good quality, like good food.
oh yeah. His
Yeah.
special diet food for his urinary issues is from Hills.
No. after
And I
Nile.
just do Styx's kitten food from Hills as well because it just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well if you're at work and you can get
Yeah,
that sweet discount.
it is one of the nice things about
Use
working.
code Provenance. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, it does.
For 15% off at checkout.
It does make it a lot easier working in the vet field, just in
Hmm.
general. Because if you work at a vet office, you're most likely going to get discounts on everything.
I would think it's
Hmm.
the least I could do
Yeah.
for all the work that you guys put
Hmm.
towards for the little guys.
Yeah. So it is nice,
Ugh,
but man, just having cats with problems.
yeah. We are don't tell us that we're not mothers because these are our babies. You know.
These, yeah, and it is not cheap.
No, no.
Like even, and
I am so thankful for the gift that is pet insurance.
yes,
I don't know.
and
Oh,
I
I don't
don't.
even want to think about what it
Oh
would be
yeah,
like if we didn't have. No, again, thank God we were like on the safe side of things, and we're just like, just in case. Yeah,
just
let's get the insurance for
get
him because what
insurance,
he
and then
ended up
also,
having and going on. Oh my God, we would have been like,
hmm
like pulling our hair out.
and that's the
Like,
thing. It's like you never know what's going to go on with your pet. Like you
hmm.
get them when, obviously, when, at least from our place, they're healthy when you adopt them, unless there's
Right,
some
right.
known medical issue, like maybe they just have a chronic disease that they just always had. Like, obviously, we tell them.
Right.
But, like, yeah, we're adopting healthy animals besides ones that already have these issues. You just never know.
Hmm.
Like, Niall, besides the fact that he was super skinny and his skin
Hmm.
was awful, like,
Yeah.
we checked his blood work, like, everything was normal. He was just looked like they didn't care for him prior
Right.
to them abandoning him at the office. But like I would have never known he had any sort of issues
Yeah.
because he didn't have them when I got him. So
No,
that
exactly. That's
it's
the
like,
thing. The issues weren't both the issues with like the issues we had with Lemmy and then the issues you have with Niall weren't present like
yep,
it's not like we had them home for a week and then all of a sudden they were sick. Like
yeah,
it was months and for you it was like a year almost down the line, with him,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, he's been
Oh,
it's
our
been
little
almost,
guys.
his birthday is August 1st, according to the adoption paperwork.
Oh,
I he's gonna be
he's a
3.
Leo? He's a Leo, I wanna say. Yeah, Leo.
Oh, he
That's his
yeah.
sign.
What's
Leo the lion.
yeah? When's Lemmy's birthday?
Lemmy is early in November, so he's a Scorpio.
You know, um, do you know the exact day?
Cat astrology. Yes, yes.
When's his
I
act?
want to say the actual day is the 7th,
7th.
November
Oh,
7th. Yes.
Styx's birthday is November 14th.
Oh my
She's a
God, November
Scorpio.
babies. Yep, and so is she, and
Ah,
so is she. See, so Niall's his cousin, but Styx is his
sister.
astrology girl.
Yeah,
Astrology sister.
yeah. So I do feel like. Do you feel like? And I know this is way off topic because we're talking about Inside Out and how do we get to our cats and their signs?
Because they're just amazing, and we just want to talk
Yeah.
about them all the time.
But
And I'm with Lemmy right now, and I'm holding his face. I'm gonna give him a kiss. I
oh,
love
I
you,
love
baby.
Lemmy. I love him. Do you think Lemmy, based off of what you know from like Scorpios, would you say that fits his personality?
Let's see, because I don't know that offhand like what they are.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. Loyal, brave, intuition, obsessive. Yes, because he cleans himself obsessively. I
Oh,
would 100% say that tracks
and it also
because he's just
says,
like any little thing. Like he can literally just like get like a little bit of like water in his paw or something, and then all of a sudden he's like, I have to clean my entire arm. Like
yeah.
he's just like
So read it off again. What are they? Because
some of them
sticks.
are loyal, brave. It just says intuition, which I assume means that they have a lot of
Like
intuition.
intuitive, yeah.
Yeah, and then obsessive, determined. It literally is just like on Google, like the drop down with just like traits. It says determined, honest, jealous. Ooh.
Huh?
passionate, creative, emotional, possessive, good at strategy, stubborn, secretive. Like it just keeps going.
Oh, I do feel like that sticks
Yeah.
because she is brave. Because when she was a kitten, she
Mhm.
climbed, and I have like, well, you see my living room, but I have like the screen door, and then I have like the actual door that leads to like my deck.
Mhm.
When she was so small, I swear she climbed that whole entire screen door. And then I was worried because she was like hanging off like she was about to fall, and I couldn't get there fast enough. And poor little her, like she just fell off and like hit the ground like hard. And
And
I
then
was like,
she
oh my
was just
god.
like, "I'm fine."
And then she got up and was like, okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, that also checks out with Lemmy because the first time we saw him when we were in line at the like event at the mall, like the adoptions event, we literally look across and we just see this little orange cat, so small. Like he was so small. Like, yeah, I know he's still like kind of like petite and kind of like small-ish
yeah.
for like an adult, basically an adult cat. But when we got him, he was so damn small, almost like a little sprinkle. Like he was just so
Yes.
tiny, and we just look across the way and we just see him like jumping onto the side of the cage and like
Hmm.
hanging from the side of the cage, even being as little as he was. And then we looked at him, we were like, we want him.
Yeah.
So we looked at me like, we want that little guy
Yeah.
right there.
And then
So that checks out with the whole thing that you said that Styx did when she was
yeah.
little because he literally did the same.
Yes. And she definitely cleans herself a lot, like you said with
Mhm.
Lemmy. But she does it while she's
Yeah.
sitting on me, and it's like nails on a chalkboard where it like skews me out. And she's like hardcore licking, and I
She's
can
just like,
hear
let me
it.
just.
I can feel it because she's moving, and I'm like, oh. And then you
She's just
have
like,
so,
girl, give me
but I love her, and then she cuddles with me all the time. I'm like, you're great.
Oh, yeah, she's
But
a
she
cuddler.
also is feisty.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, she just came over, bit my foot, and kept going. Don't know why. And the fact that
She's just like drive by.
drive by real quick, and then so Niles then a Leo, and it
Yeah.
says vivacious. They love to celebrate
Nice.
themselves and bask in the spotlight, and he
Mhm.
does because let me tell you, when he's at work, even on 100 milligrams of gabapentin, he's walking around the entire office, rubbing against everybody's legs, getting all the pets he can. He's sitting just sprawled out in the middle of the doctor's office. He's sitting
Mhm.
underneath, like one of my coworkers sitting underneath her feet. Like he loves it. He loves just everyone loves him and he knows it. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, and then it's just theatrical. They can be playful and enjoy drama fueled romances. He is playful.
Trauma filled
I mean,
romance.
maybe not the romance part, but he is very playful with sticks all the time.
I just picture like Niall just like watching like telenovelas.
Yeah.
Just like I'm
Yes.
watching my stories.
Yes. Leave me alone.
Or he's just
Glamorous.
like
Yeah.
he's like binge watching rom coms. Like he's like this.
Yes.
These are my stories. Like,
Shush, shush, shh. His paw just goes up.
he's what he's like. He loves. Oh my god, Niall would love Bridgerton.
My God, he would. Yes.
Oh,
And then
god.
passionate, natural
Oh,
leaders who are cultivating creatively inspired friendships and romances, glamorous, charming. I would say that, yeah, that fits him a lot.
see, so astrology is real, and it's the most real when it comes to our cats.
Yeah.
You
Because
heard it
I
here
do
first.
feel like, because my zodiac's a Libra,
Mhm.
and for the most part, I will say it is pretty close to it.
Yeah.
But the one thing that it says is like very extroverted and like great at like making friends, and I'm like, who that no,
Mhm.
that
I
that's
was
the
about to say
one
you're
part of
more on
my
like the quiet
zodiac,
side.
the one aspect of my zodiac that I don't think fits. Everything else, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but
I mean, with me, I think it. Well, when you go into the whole thing, when it's like, oh, your like charts like
oh
break
yeah,
down,
I never actually
you
got
know.
into the full chart, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like each one like represents like I just look into it for fun. Obviously, it's like you can't be like this is like gospel. Like I have to live my life by this, but
Yeah.
it's fun to look into, and it's just fun. Honestly, I just do it mostly for like the memes and like the
Hmm.
stupid like aesthetic posts on Instagram. But the sun sign is supposed to be, I guess, like who you are potentially to like become. Like it's not
Hmm.
necessarily how you always were like when you were younger. Like it's mostly like kind of like I guess who like
Yeah.
you are when like middle age, I guess. But I do notice like as I'm getting older, like I identify with like the Sagittarius traits more than I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Little little food for thought there, I guess.
And then it
But
says
it's yeah.
it's best careers. So for Libra, it says the best careers are hive mind, which I don't know what that is.
Hive mind.
I don't know what that
Why does
is.
that make me think like beekeeper? Like what's happening there?
Could never be me.
Hive mind.
Socialite could never be me. Instagram model could never be me. Muse and then
Group
mediator.
mind, science fiction.
Like,
I think it just means like working. It says hive mind. I guess like what's the difference between group mind and hive mind tends to describe a group mind in which the linked individuals have
yeah.
no identity, free will, possess their mind controlled is extensive of hive. What? It sounds like a cult. I'm messing with.
Right. And when I Googled just the word hive mind, I got nothing useful.
Maybe it just means like working in a group, like a group
Oh, maybe.
collaboration. That's the context that I'm gonna put it
Yeah.
in because otherwise it's like, oh my god, your best career would be a cult. It's like, gee,
Thanks. And then so like
thanks. Let me just
this
join
website,
the Manson family, I guess. Like, what the
yeah.
fuck?
And so I'm looking up the best careers for Leo. So Niall's best careers would be Chanteuse, Chanteuse, I guess.
What? What is it?
A female singer of popular songs, especially in a nightclub. I've definitely seen that term before. His other
Okay.
best careers include a B-list actor, motivational
So
speaker.
specific. So
Yeah,
specific.
not
You're
an
not gonna be an
A-list.
A-list. You're gonna be a B-list.
Well, who's considered B-list?
You're gonna be in like B-list. I guess would be like if you're in like
Like recurring
those
roles.
random like maybe yeah, or like maybe like those random like movies that are
Do you
like on
know
like
who they
Tubi or
that is?
something.
Do you know who IMDb put as the top B-list celebrities?
Oh,
Ansel Elgort.
so
Excuse me.
apparently he was canceled and he's an asshole. So like fuck that
Oh,
guy.
okay, maybe.
So that
Yeah,
there you go. That's what put him down in the B list. He
yeah.
deserves it.
He was an
Goodbye.
asshole. Yep. And then the
Yeah.
other three are motivational speaker, autobiographical author, and style icon.
Oh my god, we have to like Photoshop that or like draw. This is okay. The wheels are turning now. The all of the careers that we see for the cats, we have to like Photoshop them
Yes,
into
honestly.
those pictures.
And now I gotta
What does
find.
it say for yeah? Let's see
Oh my god,
for
I love going on a tangent.
Scorpios.
Yes,
Yeah, so somehow there was an Inside Out review in here
there
somewhere.
was.
You
It
know,
was at the beginning. Oh,
it was at the beginning.
oh, ooh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, best careers for Sticks and Lemmy. First one, con
Mm-hmm.
artist, and I
Can you
definitely
imagine they're just like they
Sticks
run? Oh
would
my
be.
god, Lemmy and Sticks run like a pyramid scheme.
That's
They're like
that's our new book. Put that on
they're
a
like
t-shirt.
messaging. They're like
Yeah.
messaging people on Instagram. Hi, love. Follow my my page here, and you can. It's just
Yeah,
like a
yeah, it's
pyramid scheme.
no, it's those people that pretend to be
Buy my
celebrities.
Avon catalog. Buy my
Yeah.
Avon
Oh,
catalog.
yes, and then but it's like the ones that pretend to be celebrities. Hi, this is definitely really Beyonce, and I'm short on money right now. Can you
Right.
Venmo me $1,000 for a plane ticket to see Blue Ivy? And you're like, oh,
Oh my god.
so con artist, puppet master, um, a brooding is brooding that word brooding protagonist. Okay, and then the
Mm-hmm.
last two best careers for Sticks and Lemmy, poltergeist, okay, and cult leader.
See, we just said cult leader, and now they're so poltergeist, as in they are the poltergeist, or poltergeist is in their combat. That's very confusing because they just say poltergeist, and it makes me think that they are the poltergeist.
Yeah,
They're just like coming through the TV, like they're here. Like, what do you mean?
because the only because poltergeist, according to the Webster Dictionary online, a noisy, usually mischievous ghost, held to be responsible for unexplained noises such as rappings. So yeah.
Oh my god, that's why we hear Lemmy scratching at the door in the middle of the night because he's just haunting us.
He's just haunting you in your sleep.
Oh my god.
That's so funny. And you know who was a famous Scorpio?
Who?
Charles Manson.
And we just wow. I literally just talked about Charles Manson 5 minutes ago.
Also Frank Ocean.
This is eerie.
Yeah.
Nice.
God.
Nice.
Leo.
Very talented.
Yeah, Leonardo
Don't know when
DiCaprio.
he's gonna make. Don't know when he's gonna. Don't know when he's gonna make new music again.
No.
Right? Very talented.
Yeah. But just love how Scorpio's best career is as cult leader, and who's Scorpio? Charles Manson.
You know what? Lemmy, your future.
Your future's looking bright, sir. Styx. I don't think she'd be.
If Lemmy was the leader of a cult, I just might join. He's too cute. If that's how he's gonna win, that's how they win them over. That's how Styx and Lemmy would win them over. They're just too cute.
I feel like Lemmy would be the leader of the cult, and Styx would be the con artist that does everything for him because he can't see, so he'd obviously need some help. And so
he's also the sympathetic leader. You know what I mean? He has the sympathy there.
He's going to play the blindness card every chance he gets. Yeah. Join my cult, please. And then
Lemmy, don't play the blindness card. That's not nice.
No.
That's not nice.
Yeah. But anyway.
So anyway, this is going off the rails yet again. But
as always.
That's why you tune in. That's why you love it here. That's why you listen.
Speaking of nostalgia, because
I love here,
and I'm pretty sure I don't think I said this one. Well, I have one from 11 years ago that says Progresso soup tastes so good.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
It's like everything was like breaking news.
Breaking news, but the real nostalgia, and this hits, and you know, it's a quote from SpongeBob. 12 years ago, I did a status on Facebook, and it says Plankton, 1% evil, 99% hot gas.
Speaking of SpongeBob, we were just
there you go
talking about SpongeBob. 1% evil, 99% hot gas.
And then, yes. Yep.
It's like it's not even the meme, the picture. You were just like, people need to hear this now.
Yeah. No, it's literally just the words. Plankton, 1% evil, 99% hot gas.
You're like, ooh, I got him with this one.
Yes. And a year after that is when June 25th, 2012. That's when I tweeted or Facebook status about Plankton, and a year later I said Progressive soup tastes so good with the soup emoji. Love that for me. What's your status? Do you have any good ones?
So I have one. It's not. They're not terribly great, but I'm just like I wonder, like, girl, what were you stressing about that you felt the need to put
nothing. There's anxiety again.
No, really. This is a little earlier than I thought I got anxiety, but who knows? I said it was on this day 12 years ago. It says July 9th, 2012. I just said, I'm in way too many fandoms for my own good. Multiple dots after that, like dot, or ellipses, I guess is the actual word for it. But I'm just like, I'm in way too many fandoms for my own good. I'm like, girl, stop stressing yourself about Justin Bieber and One Direction and do your homework.
So you've got One Direction, you've got Little Mix.
Yeah.
Fifth Harmony was around then, right?
I was vaguely in the Little Mix thing, but I think when Zayn and Perry broke up, I was just kind of like,
Screw her.
it was acting as if it was my personal beef. I'm just like,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm siding with Dean on this one.
I love how you had beef with just her, like not Zane, just
Right,
her, just Pam.
right. We love internalized misogyny in the teenage mind.
And
God.
I speaking of nostalgia again, but we were
Mhm.
playing this game with my family, and it's something I forget, or it's called Mind the Gap. So like
Okay.
it,
I think I might have
there's
heard of it.
questions and like categories from each generation, and I think it was
No, mine in the
millennial.
gap. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then there's like pop culture, movies and TV, music, and I think it was millennials, or maybe it might have been Gen Z, but it was like, oh, what's like it said one, like the number one spelled out, the letter
Mhm.
D, apostrophe, and then like ERS or whatever. And so obviously I knew what that stood for. And the question was like, what is this? Like, what would you call somebody when you say they're a one deer?
Mhm.
And so my whole family was like, first of all, they couldn't even say that phrase properly, but all of them are like older than I am. They're all like, I don't know,
Same
I don't
thing. I
know,
should have known.
I don't
Sorry.
know. And then they're guessing all these things. And I'm like, if none of you get it, I'll guess if no one gets it. And like, no one got it. I'm like, it means you're a fan of One Direction. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, how
Okay.
do you not know that?
See, they
But
would
then
have. See, they would
again,
have known that if they were in too many fandoms like me.
like you, not to brag, but I'm stressing
humble,
right now.
humble brag. Humble
A humble
brag. Me
brag.
in
I'm stressing
2012.
because I love too
Me
many
in
things.
2012 with ceiling to floor posters just covering. You could not see my wall in my childhood bedroom was wooden paneling, but you wouldn't have
Oh,
known because it was just posters.
oh, all the too many fandoms
I
that
made
you,
I made
yeah.
I made good use out of those purchases of Popstar magazine. Okay.
But it always made me mad because the poster was double sided. So it's like, what if the poster
Mhm.
is
They had to
good on
choose.
both sides, and you're like, now I
Yep.
have to choose.
You had to choose.
Yep.
And then I was always pissed when if it was like somebody that I didn't like didn't care for, they got like the big poster, and then it was like somebody that I really
Yeah.
wanted to have a poster of, because they would have the big posters in the middle that they would like staple that you had to like rip out, but then in the middle of the magazine, like, or like in random parts, they would also have like the tiny little posters.
Yep.
But they were just like there was no
Yes.
point. Like they were literally like very small, but then it was like sometimes you would have the luck where like the person you wanted a big poster of was like in the small person. You were like, okay, I
Yes.
guess.
And I definitely was the pop star magazines. Yep, definitely took those out. I had I think like two or three posters from the High School Musical films, the
Mhm.
Jonas Brothers. I had,
Mhm.
and then I remember on Disney Channel they had you can print out your own poster for the Wizards of Waverly Place movie, but
Yeah.
like it only fit on a regular size printer paper. But it would print out in
Right.
four sections and you cut out the extra like white
And
bits
then
and
you had
then
to put it together
yep,
like a little. See, it was a little art project. They
yeah,
said, "Here, they're doing
there you
art. They're
go.
not just looking at pictures. They're doing art."
Yes.
Here you go.
So that's our nostalgia rant for today.
Yeah. Yeah. As you can see, out of all the emotions in our mind, nostalgia is definitely the one that's
It hits the
taking
most. Yep.
the control now. At least right now in this
Right
stage in
now.
our life.
Yeah. Give me a few
Ah,
minutes, it will be anxiety.
yeah, right, right. And then depending on what happens in the day, like me at work could easily turn into disgust or
It's
fear
mainly disguise. Yeah.
or oh god.
Working in vet
Well,
med, you see a lot. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh man. Well, we got all the links to our socials in our bio, and they will
Yes.
be in the description of this episode as well. So if this is the first episode that you're watching, if Inside Out, the feature film, is what brought you here, stick around.
Yeah.
Check out a couple of episodes. We may go on tangents, but we have good content here,
We do.
and you so stay updated on us, and we will be back. Next episode, we'll see when it is, but we'll have some probably exciting updates because somebody's going on a work conference,
Fun. Yes.
and then I am gonna take a little 2-day trip to the beach with my fam, and then we also have a pretty interesting concert coming up. That
Yes.
we'll keep that details of that blocked down for now, but I'm sure that'll be maybe an episode in itself, or maybe we'll just do like a catch-up episode. Who knows?
Yes.
Well, hope everybody listening, everybody out there has a good week. Stay cool. This heat is no joke. I don't know if the weather is the same where you are, but probably if you're listening in the United States, you're experiencing probably a really bad summer right now.
Yeah, and if you have dogs, if you do have dogs, please be careful about taking them for walks.
Exactly.
You can literally.
If you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't put your hand to the pavement. Comfortably, then most likely their paws can't be there either. So keep that in mind. Keep your little fur babies in mind. And have a good week. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.